So even though I'm 26 years old this year, which thanks for reminding me, ass, I don't need to feel older than I already am. I know I'm ancient by Gen Z standards. I've been watching anime long enough to know that there are just some trends that you have to accept that are a part of being a degenerate weeb. Like being an ironic gooner, thinking that Japan is like the coolest place ever, having an ironic gambling addiction, and being into twinks. Yeah, I never really got the whole femboy craze, but seeing as how being post-ironic is so prevalent in a lot of anime in-jokes, it's hard to tell some days. But even though trends come and go in the otaku subculture, there's one that has essentially stood the test of time, which is having a waifu or a husbando. If you've consumed Japanese media for any long period, chances are you have a list of characters you're oddly obsessed over. No weeb is immune to this trend, we've all partook at least once, including me. Here's my 3x3, judge me how you will. But I do feel differently about waifu culture now, because a few years back, there was a hint of self-awareness when you said that a character is your waifu or husbando. But now, with people being more aware of what a parasocial relationship is, and an even bigger rising tide of loneliness among said people, it's hard to detect where the irony ends and unironic loneliness begins. As Racin et al. Says in their research paper, anime fans with waifus and husbandos actually identify more with the anime fandom because they use it as a source of self-esteem. They just feel more unique because of this, so they lean in hard into this trend for that sense of belonging and identity. And if anything, this trend has actually evolved into something more obsessive, because with the rise of things like gacha games, VTubers, and oshi culture, which is essentially Japanese stan culture, there's almost a normalization of being obsessed with these characters. Like, you're not part of the in-group if you don't partake in the same level of passion. And in Japan, where loneliness and isolation remains a huge problem, this one-sided sense of love and identity is an easy escape for a lot of people, as well as a source for a lot of behavior that, if you're not familiar with Japan, would definitely be considered weird and dangerous. So I wanted to know just that, and I wanted to see exactly what this kind of parasocial relationship is costing people nowadays. Because what started out as a fun way to identify with a character or a person is now being used as a crutch by some to fight their own insecurities. And the answer is a lot more depressing than you think.
You get these simps hooked on the idea of you, and then charge them for a handshake and a smile. As your biggest fan, that disappoints me greatly.
So you're probably wondering, what the heck is oshi culture? If you watch my other videos, which shameless plug, you really should, there's almost like a unique term coming out of Japan every time I make one of these. I could say absolute gibberish, and there's no way for you guys to prove me wrong. But like I said, oshi culture is just stan culture but with Japanese flavoring. The word oshi means to push for or to support someone. And unlike waifu or husbando culture, which is strictly tied to fictional characters, having a real human be your oshi is completely normal in Japan. Someone's oshi could be a pop idol, or an actor, or a popular VTuber, or even an adult video star. The defining thing about oshi culture is that these are people that you are a fan of and that you want to support and see them succeed. And while I'm confident that the majority of people who take part in oshi culture are reasonable in their passion, I hope, some take the idea of supporting their oshi to an extreme degree. For example, in a report by the PR agency Hakuhodo, they found that teenage girls in Japan spend almost half of their disposable income on their oshis, spending on things like merch, attending gigs, and going to events. And in a different survey by economic magazine Toyo Keizai, they found that even for fans who have oshis, they say that this way of life is a money sink. It's not cheap. Like, if you think attending one anime con is expensive, imagine going to every single one in your country on top of buying the already expensive merch there. Because that's what these people are essentially doing. And that's what they're expected to do. Oshi culture is rooted in this. Remember, it's the desire to see your favorite celebrity succeed. And some fans see themselves as a vessel only to do just that. In an article about oshi culture, there's actually a report on a 28-year-old woman from Ibaraki Prefecture in Japan who spends up to 200,000 yen a month on just merch and going to events of her favorite male idol group. She's even admitted that she spends the bulk of her income just on supporting them. When asked why she does this, she says, quote, "My purpose in life is to support. that's why I work. But again, I like to think these are outliers. I don't want to generalize that all Japanese fans spend irresponsibly. I mean, I can kind of relate. I'm into the plastic crack called 40K. Shit's expensive, yo. But like I said, this level of passion gives some people purpose and a community that gives them a sense of belonging. And if you're struggling to find an identity, it's hard to feel like an outsider when you find people that are into the same things and are as passionate as you are. So why would you give up this safety net? The thing is, the more you indulge in the safety net, the more lonelier you become.
Stop saying dumbass things! You're not even making sense!
You can't put a price on waifus. No, that's serotonin here. When you win, like, a fucking character that you're actually emotionally attached to.
Some people, though, man, like, that PNG's worth more than money.
To me, it blew my mind that it took, like...
How many...
So now you're probably wondering, how are they so willing to spend that much money? Like, existing in this economy is expensive enough. We're on the brink of World War III and I still gotta come into work tomorrow. But the real answer lies in how Oshi culture and parasocial relationships reframe this desire to show support. It goes without saying that people profiting off of parasocial relationships can make a shit ton of money. Streamers and influencers are probably the first people that come to mind when I say this, but gacha games are actually a huge culprit when using parasocial relationships for monetary gain. By reframing gambling mechanics as something more endearing, people are more inclined to buy the virtual currency to play the virtual slot machine. In the paper, Against All Odds, Desire and Monetization in Japanese Mobile Games, it says that, quote, gacha games rely on the monetization of players forming parasocial relationships with their characters. By constructing gameplay around the performance of excessive parasocial desire for a character to a community, gacha games are a particularly effective form of loot boxes. You're not pulling the lever at a glorified slot machine, no! You're pulling for your favorite character. Fine difference. Your favorite voice actor performed for this character you like, you gotta get him now. You follow this voice actor on Twitter. You failed to pull and didn't get the character you wanted, oh, that's just them being elusive, bro. You'll bring him home one day. And this character is your Oshi, right? You gotta get him. You gotta get your 5-year-old looking Oshi, bro. Just keep pulling. Just one more pull. I swear, one more pull. I swear, just one more pull. Just another pull, bro. Come on. Just pull. Gacha game fans are just built diff. In any other gaming community, spending $500 to get one character will have people looking at you weird, asking, what the fuck? But in gacha game communities, spending $500 to get one character is a sign of your devotion to that character, with other fans encouraging you by saying, haha, based. Remember that one Moist Critikal video where he talked about the dude that divorced his wife because he got caught spending $600 just to pull Furina in Genshin Impact? It's essentially that. By making players feel like they emotionally need these characters, there will always be a level of parasocial relationship that encourages them to keep going and to keep pulling. In the very same paper, they said it best with, quote, players who do not pull their desired character must keep spending. Because worse than being proven unlucky in gambling, they have been proven unlucky in love. Your devotion will be rewarded, so the joke goes in the gacha game community. And I can actually provide a more anecdotal example. I myself do play some gacha games, namely Fire Emblem Heroes, and while I'm proud to have never spent a single dime on this game, I currently have 5 out of the 9 earnable variants of the character Lucina in my account. Because she's on my 3x3 of waifus, I wanted her in my roster, so I saved up months worth of free virtual currency just to fulfill my weird obsession with this character. Look, I know my videos make me sound like a smart man, but that doesn't mean I'm any better. And the thing is, even content creators for these games say that, yeah, it's all just smoke and mirrors. That while it's fun to ride the momentary high when you do get what you want, the amount of money spent leaves you as hollow as ever. And not everyone can write this kind of spending off for taxes like content creators. Most people are just getting scammed.
And if you spent over $1,000 in this game and you're not streaming it, I suggest you don't spend it anymore because you can't write it all. And it's not content at all. You're actually just getting scammed.
But while it's fun to laugh at other people's foolishness, the fact that a lot of people seem to fall for this is indicative of something. A lot of examples of extreme Oshi and waifu culture all share the same origin, which are people that just don't have the opportunity to form a real human connection. So they turn to the closest thing they got, the internet. We live in a day and age where more people are turning to ChatGPT as their therapist rather than to an actual accredited, warm-blooded, empathetic human. People find it easier to be intimate with a machine than it is another person. Relationships are complex. It doesn't matter if they're platonic or not. They require constant effort and can hurt like a bitch if they come to an end. So when you're afraid of this pain, why chance it? In an article by Time magazine where they interviewed Japanese men who were dating virtual girls from a gacha game, they found the reason why they chose to date these fake women was because of the fear of failure in the real world dating scene. And when asked what their ideal woman would be if they had to go find a real woman, all they said was that they wanted someone that could understand and accept them for who they are. No mandatory hourglass figure or bodacious bodies, just simply love and understanding. People want to be comforted nowadays, even when they know it's fake. People want a place to belong and will do anything to find it. And corporations aren't doing people any favors by encouraging this behavior for profit. Gacha games aside, this is a huge reason why Japanese idol culture for the longest time didn't let their talents openly be in a relationship. It's all to sell that one-sided love. The audience has to feel like they own these people. And God help them if they choose to break this carefully crafted lie. Now, I learned my lesson from my other videos, so to avoid generalizing about the Japanese people, I'm actually gonna end it on a personal note. I myself grew up socially awkward. I mean, I watched anime in high school, that's already indicator enough. But growing up, it was definitely difficult to find a place to fit in, especially with interests as nerdy as mine. Unlike today, being into anime and video games during this time just made you that weird kid in the corner. So when you did find those groups of people that shared your interests, it felt like a brand new world was opening up to you. A place where you could feel welcomed and understood. And while it's the easiest it's ever been to find communities of like-minded people, it's definitely harder to leave once you feel like it's given so much of who you are now. The search for comfort and understanding is something that all of us will go through. And the mountain to that ideal is getting taller day by day. Being alone is scary. Being vulnerable is scary. And when you find something that alleviates that fear, it's intoxicating. But for some, it's a haze they'd rather not wake up from. That when loneliness is the norm and love is commodified, it's not that strange to fall in love with the voice in your headphones.